Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome to 50s Plus. Today we're going to be doing a mixture of strength and conditioning work. You will need something as a little bit of an incline, so either a chair or an ottoman or just something like a box, something that's stable. If you don't like getting down on the floor, you could use like a kitchen bench or a table or something like that. So make sure you've got something in sort of easy reach. You're also going to probably, if you are coming down onto the floor, you're going to need a mat, although most of the movements today are at an incline, so you don't need to worry too much about that one. And just a single dumbbell or a single hand weight will be useful. So if you're using like a tin of beans or a water bottle, I'm going to give you the opportunity to go and grab that. So we just need one weight of some description. You could do the movements without the weight. They'll still give you a good workout, but if you do have one, then that's going to be really beneficial. Normal stuff, you're going to need a bottle, going to need a towel. So I'm going to give you a minute, get yourselves all set up, put your favourite playlist on, and I'll be back with you. Okay, now you've got yourself organised, we're going to start with a warm-up. Our first exercise is squat with a chest opener. So what I'm going to do, just a gentle squat down, and as I come up, I'm going to open up my chest, okay? So trying to retract my shoulder blades together. So I squat down, open up. Just a little squat, nothing very big. For our warm-up, we've got 3 exercises, and we're going to do 3 rounds. Each time, just try and go a little bit wider on the hands, maybe a little bit deeper with the squat. The squat depth is entirely up to you. As I said, it's just a warm-up. Squat and open up. Squat, open up. Well done. Fantastic. Okay, so the next one is what we call a reach and pull. So I'm going to be reaching up towards the ceiling as far as I can, and then as I come down, I'm going to imagine I'm pulling myself up to a bar, elbows are going out, and my elbows are going slightly back as well, and I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. I'll show you from behind. I'm reaching up, sending those shoulder blades down, trying to stick my elbows into my back pockets. Reach and pull down. Reach and pull down. Okay? So we've got another 30 seconds. Nice big reach up and pull down. 25 seconds. And pull down. 10 seconds. Brilliant. Okay, so the third exercise in our warm-up is a torso twist. My feet are going to stay directly stacked underneath my hips, and my hips are going to stay facing forward, so lock them in position. I'm squeezing my glutes and I'm making sure that they are fixed where they are. Arms up in front, and I'm just twisting through the torso. Note again, hips are still facing forward. So make sure you're not twisting through the hips each time. I said, make sure they're nice and locked forward. Like I said, giving your glutes a nice good squeeze, that can really help fix them in that position. And like I said, then you can make sure that that is coming purely from midline. Let your eyes follow your hands all the way around. Okay, brilliant. Shake it out. So we're going to go through those 3 exercises another 2 times through. So remember, your first one is your squat and open, okay? So we're going to squat down and open up nice and wide with the hands. Squat down, open up. Bring the hands together in between and try and keep that chest up nice and tall. Squat down, open up. Squat down, open up. If you find the squat down is too much, you could just work with the open up. However, we are going to be moving into quite a bit of lower body, so it is important we have warmed up all of our joints. We've increased our heart rate through our warm up to get ready for our main piece. Another 10 seconds. Squat down, open up. Brilliant. Okay, remember we've got our reach and pull. So feet are just stacked underneath my hips. I'm going to have a nice big stretch up towards the ceiling, and then I'm going to draw those elbows down the body, slightly back, trying to fit them into my back pockets before I reverse that movement up towards the ceiling and then back down again. Reach up and then back down. Another 30 seconds on this movement. Make sure you're really feeling those shoulder blades come together as your elbows come down. Okay, we've got our torso twist. So again, feet are staying underneath my hips, but my hips are also staying locked forward. And I'm just twisting through the midline. My eyes are following my hands. Okay, we've got 7 seconds, and then we'll go into those torso twists. Okay, arms up in front. Have a little look down. Check your hips are facing forward. Don't worry if you can't twist round as far as me and you're only coming part way. As long as those hips are facing forward and the twist is coming from the midline, then that's absolutely fine. Brilliant. Okay, so we've got one more round of our warm-up. So remember, we're going down into our squat and open up. So we've got 15 seconds. So take a little moment. 10 seconds on the clock, and then we will start. Okay, so squat down, open up. Good. Squat down, open up. Go a little bit quicker this time, or maybe a little bit deeper, a bit wider on the arms. Another 25 seconds. Okay, so we've got our reach and pull. Gonna wait another 15 seconds. Chest up nice and tall. Take a nice big deep breath in. Arms up towards the ceiling and then pulling down. Good. Reach up, pull down. Good. Make sure the elbows are staying nice and tucked into the side as they're coming down. They're not flaring out to the side. Coming in nice and tucked into the side. Imagine you're putting your elbows into your side pockets. And when you reach, you're trying to reach all the way up to the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are. 10 seconds. Brilliant. Well done. Okay, so final one is the torso twist. So remember, hips locked forward, glutes squeezed on, tight through the midline, and we're twisting through our torso. Follow my hands. Okay, so we've got 40 seconds. I started a little bit early. It won't do you any harm. Working through. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. So that's your warm-up completed. As I said before, you're going to need something as a little bit of an incline, a chair, a table, a bench, something. You're going to need a mat for your knees if you're going to go down to the floor, and you're also going to need some sort of hand weight. That doesn't matter what it is, but just the one is all that's required, and your usual bottle of water and your towel. So have a little double check on that. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds, and then we're going to start the main workout today. Okay, let's get on with the main workout. So today we've got 10 exercises and we're doing 45 seconds of work and 15 seconds rest in between. We're going to start with a squat and kick. Make sure your whatever bench or whatever you're using is slightly out the way for this one, and make sure the weight for you is easily grabbable as well. So we're going to do a squat and then we're going to kick out. Squat, kick, squat, kick. You can bring the knee up a little bit higher if you want and do it more as a knee raise if that's more comfortable, but it's a squat and kick out, squat and kick out. Hands can go on your side, out in front. Little squat, doesn't need to be deep. It's more designed as a quicker movement. Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, so now we're going to come down into our incline push-up. So I'm going to pop the mat down on the floor. Yes, like I said, you can do this against a work surface or a table if it's more comfortable for you. Put your hands just slightly outside your shoulders, and we're aiming to move that chest down in between the hands and then full extension on the way up again, okay? Make sure you're nice and tight through the midline as you're drawing yourself down and pushing yourself back up. Again, we don't want to be putting any excess pressure on our lower back. And like I said, these can be done against a kitchen surface at a much higher angle, makes it a little bit easier. Or an outside table if it's sturdy enough. Okay, we've got 5 seconds. There's enough time for another couple of reps. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to do a sit to stand. So I'm just going to move my mat very slightly out the way. I'm going to use said incline. Now for you guys who haven't got, I'm using the kitchen surface and haven't got a bench, you could just do this as a normal squat. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to make sure my shins are vertical. My chest is up nice and tall, arms out in front, and then I'm going to stand up. As I lower myself down, I don't want to plonk myself down. I want some control. So I'm controlled all the way down. So I touch down onto the surface and then I come straight back up again, okay? As I come back up, I give my glutes a nice little squeeze. So down and up. If you're finding that the bench or said chair is a little bit too low, grab a cushion. Make it a little bit higher. Make it a little bit easier for you. If you're finding it a little bit too easy, you can grab a weight. So next time we'll grab the weight and hold that as well. So next exercise, are we going to do a single arm shoulder press? So grab your dumbbell. Make sure you're standing with your feet directly underneath your hips, chest up nice and tall. I'm going to bring the weight up in front, elbows at about a 45-degree angle away from the body, and I'm pushing up. My finishing position is with my bicep next to my ear, and then drawing back down again to the weight just above the shoulder. And I'm going to do about 22 seconds on each side. Okay, I'm going to swap it over onto the other side, pushing up. Nice and steady. We can increase the intensity. We've got 3 rounds, so we can increase the intensity next time. 4 seconds. Okay, the weight is going to go behind. So grab it either end, make sure you've got a good firm grip on it. This is going to force you to keep a flatter upper back, and we're going to do what we call a good morning. So hinging position, my feet are underneath my hips, and I'm going to push my butt back. The weight might rest against my glutes, that's absolutely fine. And I'm going to come as far down as my hamstrings will permit me. So my chest is now parallel with the floor. If you don't come that far, that's okay. And as I come back up, I'm going to squeeze my glutes at the top, okay? Really roll those shoulders back and pinch the shoulder blades together. And down. And then back up again. What the weight's doing is it's forcing you to keep a flatter back. You're less likely to round your spine forward. Just think about pushing the hips back. Don't worry about what your back is doing. Just think about pushing that butt back towards the wall behind you, or the gate, or the fence, or whatever wherever you are. Brilliant. Okay, so that's your good morning. Now we're going to bring the weight back in front, and we're going to use the chair, and we're going to do a calf raise. So for the calf raise, I'm going to bring my chair to me, and then with the calf raise, I'm going to hold the weight in one hand. With the working leg, I'm going to stand on one leg. Now, if you can't do that, you can do it with 2 legs altogether. And I'm just going to come up onto my toes as high as I can, and then return back down to the floor to a flat foot. Up on my toes, return back down again. Hold the weight in the side of the leg that's working, and then back down again. Again, about 22 seconds on each side. So I'm going to swap it over. Weight goes now into my left hand, using my left leg, right leg off the floor, up onto my toes, and then back down again. Doesn't need to be a really fast, explosive movement, just slow and steady. Be absolutely fine for this one as well. Okay, I'm going to pop the weight down. I don't need it for this next movement. I'm going to do an incline plank. So again, doesn't matter what surface you're against. Pop your hands on your box chair or work surface, and you're going to bring yourself into a plank position. So I'm going to squeeze my glutes, which means I tuck my pelvis under. That helps engage a little bit more of my lower abdominal area. And I'm going to be up on my hands, so what we call a high plank position. And I'm going to be really tight through that midline. My feet are in line with my hips. You can go a little bit wider if you like a bit more of a stable base. That's absolutely fine as well. We're just going to hold this position. If you find being on your wrists like that is too much, you can bring it down onto your elbows. Or you could do this plank on the floor on your knees if you feel more comfortable. So we've got another 6 seconds. Brilliant. Okay, carefully bring yourself out of that one. And we're going to go into a dumbbell rainbow, as I like to call it. I'm just going to make a little bit more space. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to be taking the weight. As we did earlier on with our torso twist, I'm going to fix my hips facing forward. So I'm going to squeeze my glutes so I'm nice and tight through here. And what I'm going to do is aim to bring the weight all the way over the top and down to my, so hip to hip. And my eyes are going to follow the weight through the full movement. Okay? It's a core exercise. Nice, big, big semicircle all the way over the top. And again, note, hips are staying fixed as much as possible. And my eyes are following the weight. Make sure you've got a good grip. We don't want to clonk yourself on the head with it. Okay, you are going to now put the weight down and we're going to do a glute kickback. Now I'm going to use the chair for this one to support the movement. I'm going to stand holding on to the back of the chair or whatever you've got to steady yourself, and all I'm going to do is my feet are underneath my hips and I want to utilise my glute, so I'm going to send my heel back and I'm going to squeeze my glutes. Make sure your feet are still parallel to each other, and I'm going to alternate legs, just kicking back. You're not trying to twist and throw the leg up, you're just going as far as your glute will permit you. So it might only be a very small movement, okay? And I'm going to alternate sides. Make sure you give your bottom a really good squeeze each time. And like I said, try and keep those feet as parallel as possible. If you feel yourself twisting through the hip, you're trying to go too far in the range. And that's not beneficial for the glute. Okay, final exercise. A part of the 10, and we'll have a little rest. We're going to do a bent over row. So that hinge position we use with our good morning, I'm going to come forward, I'm going to hold that position, I'm going to take the dumbbell in my left hand to start off with, and I'm drawing it into my side pocket and then back down again. So elbows are to the back of the room, and again I'm just going to do 22 seconds on one side and 22 on the other. If you're in this position, you feel it in your lower back, check out what your core's doing. Pull in from the front and make sure that you're like protecting that. And then I'm going to swap it over. Again, dumbbell coming into the side. Often when we feel things in our lower back, it's because we're not engaging correctly through our core. We're not letting our core support our spine. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. So that's your first 10 minutes done. We're going to repeat that another 2 times. So I'm going to give you a minute's rest, grab some water, and then we'll be straight back in. Okay, now we've had a little rest, we're going to get on with our second round. So remember, we're doing our squat with a kick out, so make sure you've got that little bit of space. So we're going to squat down and kick out. I said 45 seconds and 15 seconds of rest, the same as before. Said your hands up in front or hands on hips, it's entirely up to you. Squat down, kick out. Just a little squat. It's not designed to be really deep. Another 30 seconds. Keep it going. Alternating legs each time. So right leg, left leg. Brilliant. Another 20 seconds. You should feel a little bit more confident this time. We've been through the exercises once through. We can now start to work a little bit faster and a little bit harder. We've got another 6 seconds. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to come down into our push-up. So I'm going to put my mat down just for my knees and bring my bench in towards me. So hands are just going slightly outside my shoulders, my elbows are going back. It's really important that our elbows aren't going out to the side, we don't want any chicken wings. Chest coming down, full extension of the arms. Another 8 seconds. Time for a few more. Brilliant, well done. Okay, so you're going to bring yourself into a sit to stand. So I'm going to move the mat out of the way because I don't need that one, but I'm going to bring the chair a little bit closer to me. So I'm starting a seated position. Chest up nice and tall. As I said last time, you can grab the weight if you found it a little bit too easy last time and just hold that in a front position. Chest up tall, elbows up. Slow on the way down. Make sure you stay tight through the midline. It's not a couch, you're not flopping down on it. There wants to be a nice controlled movement. Looking to have our shins in a reasonably vertical position. Nice and slow and steady on the way down. Chest up nice and tall. Okay, brilliant, well done. Okay, so now we're going into single arm press. We don't need our incline. Feet directly underneath my hips. I don't want to arch my back when I'm standing upright and pushing over my head, so I'm going to squeeze my glutes, make sure I'm tight through the midline. Elbows about 45-degree angle away, and my finishing position is with my bicep next to my ear, and with the dumbbell straight above my head. About 22 seconds on each side. I'll let you know when to change. And then we're going to swap it over onto the other side. Just come down as far as the dumbbell just touches the top of the shoulder, and then we can push straight back up again. Okay, fantastic. So we're going to take the dumbbell and I'm going to place it behind me. So I'm going to hold it end to end. And we're going to do the hinge position that we've done today and in previous classes. So my feet are going to be directly underneath my hips. I'm going to roll my shoulders and pinch my shoulder blades together. So I'm sort of slightly pushing my chest out. That position I'm going to hold, and I'm going to use a dumbbell to support that. And I'm going to push my hips back as far as I can, as far as my hamstrings will let me go, and then back up, squeeze my glutes at the top. Note my back is in a nice flat position, okay? We don't want to be rounding forward. And we start to use our back. And the aim of this is to use our posterior chain, which is our hamstrings and our glutes and our lower back muscles. Brilliant, okay, so you can bring yourself out of that one. We're going to do a calf raise. You're going to need your dumbbell. So with the calf raise, we're going to work one side then the other, same as we have done, 22 seconds on one side and then swap over. Standing on your right leg to start off with the dumbbell in your right hand, you're going to use the chair or bench or whatever you've got to support yourself, up onto your toes and then back down again. Up onto your toes and then back down again. Try and get as high as you can. Okay, you're going to swap it onto the left side or the other side, depending where you started. Like I said, dumbbell in the same hand as the leg that's working. If you find it too hard on one leg, just do both legs together. And then don't worry too much about which side you're holding the weight on. You could swap halfway, I suppose. Okay, fantastic. So we're going to go into incline plank. So remember with that one, you can pick whichever suits you to have your hands or on your hands or on your elbows. I'm going to be on my hands for this one. I'm going to step myself back. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, which helps tuck my pelvis under. I'm going to hold this position. That also, by give my glutes a squeeze, helps engage a little bit more of the lower part of my abdominals. Again, plank could be done on the floor if you're happy to do it down there. It's a little bit easier against an incline. I'm not supporting so much of my body weight on my arms. Okay, carefully bring yourself out of that one. Give your arms a little shake. So we're going to move on to the next one, which is our rainbows. Again, I don't need the bench for this one. What I do need to do is make sure my feet are underneath my hips, and my hips are locked forward, so I'm going to squeeze my glutes, and I'm going to come all the way over the top. I'm just going to move my pesky mat. So, eyes are going to follow the weight. I'm going to go from one hip to the other, all the way down. I'm going to touch my hip with the dumbbell, and my eyes are going to follow the dumbbell all the way through that semicircle, all the way over the top and down. And go up as high as I can. Note my hips are facing forward still. I'm not twisting through that area. Another 8 seconds. Okay, so we've got our glute kickback. I'm going to do this supported. So feet directly underneath my hips, chest up tall, and I'm kicking that leg back as far as my glute will permit me, and then back down again, making sure my feet stay nice and parallel. And we're going to alternate legs. You will have a little tilt forward, but just make sure you're not leaning too far forward. Only work to the range that your glute will allow you. Give it a really good squeeze. These should be tight, tight, tight. Make sure you're not twisting through the hips. So if you look and you see your foot's coming out to the side, then that's not correct. We're starting to engage other muscles. It's just your bottom I want to target. Brilliant. We've got one more exercise, and then we're going to have another rest. We've got our bent over row. Remember, it's a single arm row to start with. So I'm going to start in my left hand. Same position I did for my good morning. I'm going to push my hips back. I'm going to hold this position. My back is nice and flat. So I roll my shoulder blades together, and I'm rowing into my side pocket. Keep the dumbbell nice and close to the body. Squeezing my back each time. Swap it into the other hand for the next 22 seconds. I'll turn around so you can see me. Brilliant. Okay, well done. So that's your second round done. We've got 3 rounds altogether. So give yourself another rest, and I'll be back with you. Okay, we've got our final third round. So this is an opportunity to maybe speed things up a little bit, work a little bit to a bit of a higher intensity, because we know we've just got our cool down. So you've got 10 minutes of work left. So we're going to start with our squat and kick. So remember, we squat down and we kick out. Squat down, kick out. Just a little squat. Make sure that your chest is staying up nice and tall. And like I said, this is an opportunity. You know how you're feeling in terms of your fatigue. If you want to go a little bit harder this time, then you can do. Get a few more reps, then you can have a well-deserved rest. Keep it going. We've got another 15 seconds. Oh, another one, another one. Yeah, right, okay. We're gonna go in to an incline push-up. I'm having a mat down on the floor. You could do this against a work surface if you want to be a bit higher up. Hands just outside of my shoulders. Elbows going back, chest coming down in between. And what I'm gonna aim to do is just keep moving. So I'm not breaking the reps up. And seeing whether I can get through the full 45 seconds without stopping. So don't go too quickly with this one. Just aim to keep going throughout. We've got another 15 seconds. You've got those reps in you, I know you have. Keep it going. Nearly there. Go on, one more rep. Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. So you've got your sit to stand. Grab your dumbbell. We're going to hold that dumbbell in front. I'm going to grab it in the middle, and I'm going to put my elbows up. Okay? So the dumbbell is just top of the chest area. I'm going to come all the way down onto the chair. Make sure my shins are vertical, and I'm coming up, squeeze my glutes to the top. Don't let the weight pull you forward, and make sure the downward phase is nice and controlled as well. Okay, brilliant. So we've got a single arm press. You do not need your chair for this one, or your incline for this one. We're going to start in your left. Actually, we'll start on the right side. About 22 seconds on each side. Remember, elbow about 45 degrees away. Bicep finishes by the ear. Weight comes all the way down so you can feel it. Just touch the top of the shoulder and then back up again. Pressing up towards the ceiling. Okay, we're going to swap it onto the other side. Okay, bring the weight behind, grab them either end. You can do this one without the weight, but however, the weight there is more of a tool to try and help you keep your chest and your back nice and flat. So I'm going to push those hips back, keep my back nice and flat, squeeze my glutes to the top, push it back, squeeze. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. So bring the weight out from behind and we're going to do a calf raise. So you'll need some support for that one. Have the dumbbell in the leg that's working. I'm going to be standing on one leg, and I said I'm going to come up and then back down again. About 22 seconds on each side. Try and come up as high as you can. I'm going to swap it onto the other side, onto my left leg, whichever leg you weren't working. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to put my weight down. I'm going into my incline plank. So whatever you've decided to do that one against. So for me, my hands are going to go in line with my shoulders and step my feet back. I can go a little bit wider on my feet. Remember, the wider your base, the more stable you are. And I can come down to my elbows if I find this too aggressive on my wrists. Make sure you're squeezing those glutes nice and tight, tucking that pelvis under. Don't give up now, you've got 10 seconds on the clock. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Carefully bring yourself out of that one. Remember, we've got our rainbows. So I'm going to grab the dumbbell, stand with my hips facing forward, make sure they're nice and locked on. So my glutes are nicely squeezed and my hips are facing forward. Dumbbell to the side, starting at one hip. Nice big semicircle over the top. And we're going to meet down to the other hip. Make sure your eyes follow that dumbbell all the way through. And you stay as tight through the core as possible. So really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze all the way over. Eyes follow the dumbbell. Last time you'll do this exercise, all the way over. You've got 12 seconds. Okay, one more over the top and then down again. Brilliant. 2 more exercises left. We've got our glute kickbacks and then we've got a single arm row. Don't need the dumbbell for the glute kickback. Just need to make sure you've got something to support you. Remember, feet directly underneath my hips. Feet are parallel and they're going to stay parallel. I'm sending the heel back. I'm going as far as my glute will permit me. Alternating legs. Second from last exercise. So about a minute's worth of work left. Six seconds. Brilliant. We've just got one more exercise left. We've got 45 seconds of work and then we can have a nice cool down. Okay? So remember your bent over row. So I'm sending my hips back. I'm going to do 22 seconds on one side and then 22 on the other. Elbow going to the back of the room. The dumbbell is going to come into your side pocket. Squeeze my back each time. One more row on that side and spin it around or just swap it over and we'll do your last side. Again, squeeze that shoulder blade, bring that weight in. You've got 10 seconds of work left. Keep it going a little bit further. I'm going to have a really good cool down. Okay, fantastic guys. I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds, grab a drink, and then we'll get on with our cool down. You can put all the other bits and pieces away. You don't need any of that for the cool down at all. So you don't even need a mat or anything because I'm going to do it all standing. So I'll be back with you in 30 seconds. Thank you. Okay, let's have a really nice stretch out. So we're going to start from the top down. We're going to start with our shoulders. So we're just going to bring our arm across the body. I'm going to pull the arm in. I'm going to hold it either top of the arm or at the bottom. Try not to grab it on the joint area. And we're just drawing the arm across the body. We're trying to sort of stretch out our shoulders here. Or technical term, our deltoids. Done a little bit overhead, and our push-ups today would have affected that muscle. About 30 seconds on each side. I'm going to swap it onto the other side. Another 10 seconds. Okay, I'm going to carefully release myself out of that one. I'm going to work on my chest area, so my pectoral muscle across the front. I'm going to open my arms up, squeeze my shoulder blades together, and hold this position. If you can bring your hands into what we call the small of the back, and we can push the chest forward. That can help increase that stretch if needed. So I'm pushing out of my chest as far as I can. That sort of intensifies it a little bit if you need it. Okay, we're going to hold this for another 10 seconds. Okay, carefully shake yourself out of that one. We want to work on our back now. So I'm going to link my fingers together. I'm going to push them forward. And this time, instead of drawing my shoulder blades together, okay, I'm going to try and separate my shoulder blades. Lower spine. I'm going to stay in a neutral position, and I'm just looking at rounding that upper back. Reaching forward as fast as I can. Feeling that lovely stretch through the upper back area. And we're going to hold this for about another 25 seconds. If it's too intense to hold for that time, you can just release yourself out of it and then bring yourself back in again. That's absolutely fine as well. Okay, bring yourself out of that one. We're going to do a side stretch. So my feet are going to stay underneath my hips. I'm going to send my left arm up towards the ceiling. My right hand is going to run down the side of my leg. And I'm going to go as far as I can. Imagine instead of pulling your arm over the top, you're actually just reaching down towards the floor. You should feel a really good stretch up the side here. And we're just going to alternate sides. We're going to hold for a few seconds and then alternate. Just a little bit each time. And we're going to do this for about another 30 seconds. So just really reach, and pull down each side. Feel that stretch. Another 20 seconds. And then one more reach each side. Brilliant, okay. Let's move it down. We've got our quads and our hamstrings left. So for our quads, we're going to do a standing stretch. I'm going to grab hold of something, the wall or something to the side of me. You could bring the chair back in. I'm sorry, I got you guys to get rid of it. You're going to bring your knee up. I'm going to grab hold of the laces part of your shoe, and then bring your heel round to your bottom. Really make sure, have a little look down. Are your knees locked together? So let's not make sure that they're not flared out to the side. Lock together, chest up tall, and I'm going to push through the hips. That's going to help increase that intensity for me and that stretch through that quad. You can grab a towel if you need to and hook it around the foot and help that to bring it up. Just going to hold this position for another 10 seconds and I'll swap it onto the other side. Okay, I'm going to carefully release my foot down. Again, I bring my foot up, I grab my lace, I'm pulling round, knees locked together, chest up tall, and I'm going to push through my hips, and that's going to help increase that intensity. With all stretches, just for a gentle kind of stretch afterwards, looking for about 30 seconds to a minute. For each stretch. If you want something a bit more intense or you're working on your mobility, then stretching you want to kind of start to look at holding things for about 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, I'm going to carefully bring myself out of that one, give my quads a little shake out. Last thing I'm going to do is my hamstrings, and for that one I'm going to look at trying to touch the floor or touch my toes. I'm going to go slightly wider than my hips. In terms of my feet, I'm just going to drop myself down towards the floor, keeping my knees a little bit soft. Try not to bend them too much, but however, a little bit of softness is fine. And I'm going to walk my hands down my legs as far as I can go. And if I can bring my hands down onto the floor, then fabulous. And we're just going to hang out here. Now for some, you might find it too intense to stay down here. You can just roll your spine up towards the ceiling, take a little moment and then bring yourself back down again. But if you can, just try and hang out in this position, and we're going to stay down here for about another 30 seconds. Pop your hands on your shoes if that helps, and you should feel a lovely stretch all the way down the back of the legs. Often people are very tight in their hamstrings. Let your body weight sort of just aid the stretch. Just try and relax into it. A few deep breaths. Okay, now we're going to carefully roll that spine back up towards the ceiling. A bit of a stretch through the chest. Fantastic, brilliant, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me again. It's been fantastic. As I said, as always, if you need to send me a message or you've got any feedback or anything like that, you can contact me through the club. Like I said, all feedback and comments are greatly appreciated. So let us know. I hope you've really enjoyed that, and I will be joining you next week. Thank you very much.